We getting over this hump together. That's me, Evangelist Angie B., Amazon International #1 best-selling author, mother, daughter, sister, friend to some, entrepreneur. Angie B. is a mental health advocate, a motivational speaker, an ambassador for alopecia awareness, and media personality. Hello, everyone. I am the Queen Bee, Evangelist Angie B., and I'm honored to be here with you, a domestic violence survivor. She has endured physical and mental trauma and shares her testimonies around the world. Recently named by Contessa's Court, Women in Business 2023, we've been over some humps. And we getting over this hump together. Let's get it started. Yep, it is time to get it started. It definitely is time to get it started. Hey everybody, it's me, the Queen Bee, Evangelist Angie B, and you see my trusty little circular fan in the background because we've been buzzing in the beehive and it's hot. It's we got so many exciting things going on. And not only is today, November 15th, it is my firstborn's birthday. I'm not going to give her age, but she's the first woman who called me Ma. She's the reason why I started my trail to become an author, because I had to write some of this stuff down. I was like, it is a joy to have her in my life, and it is a joy to have her to be able to watch her evolve. And so happy birthday to my daughter. Happy birthday, Angeline. She may just take over the show one time in the future. You know how you try to build an empire so you can leave it to your kids? So hopefully she'll take over this air spot one day. And we'll see. No pressure, but we shall see. So I'm excited about November 15th because it's almost Thanksgiving here in the United States. Yes, we're giving thanks every day, but there's something about getting some turkey and collard greens together that it just makes my day. And November is also a month that is recognized around the world where people get together and try to write novels. We try to meet a goal of writing more words, of being conscious of becoming authors. And I'm thrilled to have an author here. It's going to be my very special guest tonight. If you've been watching me for a minute, you already know a little bit about author Avalon Brown. She's an inspiration. I mean, she's a retired nurse. We've been talking to her since before she retired earlier this year. And through her 40 plus years in nursing, she learned quite a few things, not just in the medical profession, but how to be an inspiration to others, how to encourage others not to quit, how to let people know that they're not in this alone. And I thought she would be a perfect guest tonight. We're getting over this hump together is a show. This is our show where we talk about problems and we share with each other how we got over the hump. We try to help somebody else so that they are encouraged and uplifted. And Avalon has certainly done this with her new book project. And so we're going to talk about it. We're going to bring her in right now. Hello, Sister Avalon. Hello.
Hi, how are you? How are you doing? So glad to be here.
I'm so glad to see you. You know, I know we chat on Facebook all the time, but it's nothing like being able to see the goodness of the Lord just radiate all over you. So tell us about you. Where do you live? And what keeps you busy now that you've retired from nursing?
Well, I live in New Jersey, in Newark, New Jersey. Like she
Okay.
said, I am retired, a retired nurse of 42 years now. What's keeping me busy is I decided that now that I'm retired, I'm going to go into being a full-time author. So this is what's keeping me busy right now. This project that I just completed with the help of Angie B. Um, I'm very excited about it. And this is what's keeping me busy. I'm going to try to get into being more of an author, learning more about being an author, and just learning the industry.
Yeah. 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 Because it's one thing to bake a cake, it's another thing to start a bakery. And so
Yeah.
we're authors, but now publishing and promoting and producing, yeah, that's a little bit more to have to learn. So
Yes, it
I'm
is.
excited. Now, I want everybody to know the first time NGB Productions really worked with Avalon was to produce the audiobook for her children's book, Mommy, Why Do I Have a Cold? And it's about that time of year. I've seen you do your lives where weather's changing, kids are getting snotty nosed, So
Yes.
can you tell, can you tell us a little bit about that book, please?
Yes, this book is a fun book, but it's also a learning book. It's my first children book. It was based on my granddaughter because when I was at a book expo, a teacher from my town asked me, "Do I write books on my field of nursing?" And I said no. So I started thinking about it, and I thought about my one granddaughter who's always. Oh, it seems like the whole winter her nose is running or she have a cold. So the thought came to me, the title came right away, Mommy, Why Do I Have a Cold? So what I did, because my last job before I retired, I was an infection preventionist. And we
Mm,
had to do a lot of training on, infection prevention, hand washing, and just protecting yourself. So I decided to put those type of things in the book. It's like, Mommy, why do I have a cold? The little girl wants to know where the colds come from, what's making her have a cold, because she can't go to school because of her cold. So what I did was I kind of put things in that might cause anybody, really, not just children, anybody, far as hand washing, making sure that you're bundled up when it's windy, hats and coats, how germs float, talking about
right,
when children
right,
are playing, they don't really think about those things. So I put a lot
right.
of pictures in the book of these things that might cause you to have a cold.
You're right. You are absolutely right. Absolutely right. And I love the fact that you introduced it in a way that is uh, attractive to grandparents, parents, and the child. I do appreciate that. It's not like a children's book. Parents can learn something from it too.
Yes.
And that is truly wonderful. I love that one, Mommy. Why do I have a cold? And then later on, I learned that you've got more books that were inspired by more grandchildren.
Yes, because I have now do I have 7 grands, 3 great grands. So after I wrote that first book, then of course the other grands want their name in the book. So that's what I'm adventuring in. I think I've covered at least 7 other grands. So I still
Mm.
have a couple of more to do. So each book, the grandchild will be a character in each children book.
So long as the family keeps growing,
Yeah.
your library will
We'll
keep
keep
growing.
growing with children books, yeah, and topics. Because the books are based on something that they do, that I see them do. So that's how I come up with the title. It's based around them.
I'm glad you said that because somebody asked the question, how do you figure out the topics that you want to write about? So you said your books are based, the characters are based on your grandchildren?
Yes. So like if you look at the one that the church that I love is about the granddaughter who really loves to go to church. The one that needle not for me. That grandchild really hate needles, and the doctor gotta, convince her. So forth. That's how I base the story, based on the children and what they do
That
and
is
don't like. Yeah.
that is beautiful. That is beautiful. That is beautiful. So now comes the time where we want to really talk about this anthology. you go from writing children's books, and I know you wrote a book about your career, but how did you come up with the idea of writing an anthology and including other people? How did that come about?
My very first book that I wrote, and that was back in 2012. It was a memoir of my nursing career, the different struggles I went through, the different challenges that I went through. So recently, since I retired, I had the idea that I wanted to revise this book, because the way I wrote the book then is like I'm really talking about things they did. And to me, I can see a lot of the negativity in the book. But although people said it helped them because it's not just for nursing and the things that they were going through on their job. So I wanted to sit down and kind of think and pull things out that can help people so that they can see how I overcame what was being done to me. How did I get through it? So, but
you got over that hump. Yes.
Then I started thinking, because that book was called It Was the Devil All Along. And I did mention the devil and the way spirits attack you and different things like that. So then I started thinking, now I know I sound like maybe I'm complaining about nursing that I didn't enjoy, but nursing has always been my passion. So I enjoyed my job in nursing. I didn't enjoy things that I went to that didn't have to do with taking care of the patient and making sure the patient and comfort, the outside things such as management, your peers like that. So I started thinking, I know I'm not the only one. I said, I'm going to reach out to other nurses. And because my daughter is a nurse now, and she's coming home and she's talking about the challenge she's going through, her friends, how, these are all young nurses, her friend coming home crying every day through orientation because of what's going on, while she's working. So I decided that, okay, I'm going to see a couple of nurses that I know I'll see if they would be willing to come into this. And I said, I'll contact Angie, see if Angie B would help me with this, because I really know that I'm not the only nurse going through this. So thankfully, and 10 of them honored me and decided that they would come in with me, and they were willing to tell their stories, because it's like some of them actually know what I've been through, and it's like, okay, well, we've been through the same thing, and they all come from different specialties, which makes it look so much better, because it's not just the specialty that I was in. These are different specialties and nurses, and these nurses were gracious enough to come in with me with this project. And I'm so thankful for Angie B to helping me get it together. This is my first anthology. I'm in like 8 other anthologies, but never any of my own. This is my own.
Your own. Well, we're gonna take a quick break. I want to introduce the audience to this upcoming anthology, and we'll be right back.
Hi, this is author Avalon S Brown. I am the visionary of this project. Recently, I've been speaking to different nurses who have been expressing and voicing their challenges and their frustration while working in the field. So I decided to reach out to different nurses from different specialties and bring them together to create a book so that they can write about their experiences, their challenges, their frustrations that they experienced in nursing and how they overcame them and why those challenges did not make them quit. This is going to be a very important book for the next generation of nurses, because they can see that they are not alone out there. The nurses before you have gone through these same type of challenges, these same frustration, but they never allowed it to make them quit, because nursing is their passion. And this is what we want you to know. Keep your passion. Never let them make you quit.
Audiobook produced and promoted by Angie B. Productions.
When it seemed like the world had stopped, as if our normal would never be again. Confinement Chronicles.
Still, there were those who held fast to hope. These are their stories. from teachers to dads to nurses on the front line. They have chronicled their messages of hope. Confinement Chronicles, now available. Order today on Amazon, also available in audiobook or at laderopress.com.
Confinement Chronicles.
I tell you, there's something special about an anthology. Confinement Chronicles was written by nearly 50 people who shared their stories about the pandemic. And Avalon, I'm going to bring you in right now because I love to share this story about you. You talked about being a nurse during the pandemic and how the first time you hit the floor, you had to pray because it looked like something from a horror movie. Infections control and I know that, folks are still catching COVID. I'm still recovering from about in September. I've got 2 relatives that are dealing with it right now, but it was nothing like those first few months. And you probably have some stories to tell from that time in your career. Can you share one of them with us?
Yes. Matter of fact, I have an audio chapter that you did. I was part of one of your other anthologies where I brought this into the anthology. I was new, I guess about 3 or 4 months into infection control when COVID hit. And the hospital decided to make one floor just all COVID patients. And I guess once it filled up, they would move them, to other floors. And for some reason, I was assigned as a new infection control nurse. I was assigned to this unit. And I couldn't really refuse the assignment, but I was so scared the first day that I had to go to the floor. I actually stood outside the door and I prayed. I had to pray, I was just like so nervous because no one knew what this was. I didn't know, I didn't have I wasn't dealing with patients, but I had to walk through and round on the floor, make sure the nurses were, wearing their PPE properly. And it was just something scary to me. And finally, I just stood at the door for really 5 minutes, and I decided to quote, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will feel no evil, and I pushed the door open. When I pushed the door open, it was something like a war zone, out of a war zone. Everybody had on these bunny suits and they were just running around frantic and in and out of the patient rooms. And I was really nervous, but I walked through, and because it was the unit that I had to go through was like a horseshoe shape. So I went through the unit kind of quick the first day. I'm not, I honestly, I really went through, I didn't really want to talk to anybody, but the second day is the more I saw the nurses, the nurses were so nervous, because a lot of them had children at home and everything. And I realized that I needed to stop and talk to them because they needed someone to talk to because of the fact that they were so frantic. And the fact that I had calmed down, I did stop and talk to them, even though I was nervous. The fact that they were coming out of the room with these suits on, was it on them? They're in my face. I'm not suited up the way they were. So, things changed, with the way we had them to wear the PPE. They had to come out of those suits and put the proper face shields and masks and N95s on. But, it got to the point that the more I rounded, I would actually stop and talk to these nurses because they wanted to vent. And then we had in the department, we had to also talk to the staff that was getting sick. They had to call into our department. And it was you would be on the phone talking to them sometime for 20 minutes because they were, they were so frantic because they had this thing and some had children at home and they just wanted someone to talk to. So I felt I was there giving them some comfort. That's why I stopped to talk to them. I stopped worrying about whether I was going to
Right.
catch it or not. And God bless
Right.
me, I have never
Right.
caught COVID
Right.
up to yet. And I'm just
Wow.
saying that the fact that I had to round on this floor every day, the COVID floor, every patient on the floor was a COVID positive patient. And I just felt so blessed because we actually lost about 11 employees from the hospital.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
but I just felt blessed. I said, God had me to stop and talk to them because a
Yes.
lot of them really needed to be comforted. They needed to like
Yes.
vent. And so most of the time they were just venting. I'm not going to say complaining. I'm going to say venting because they
Right.
needed to
Right.
do that because it was so new to all of us. None of us really knew what was going
Right.
on. They put policies in place, but sometimes policies fail too. So they were
Yeah.
just being
Yeah.
themselves, trying to protect
Yeah.
themselves, not bring this thing home to their families, but
And
it was a
I'm so grateful that you shared that story with me back then, because when I tested positive for COVID in September, I was out of town in a no family. Well, best friend family, but just out of town. And it felt like when they wheeled me, when they admitted me and put me in this room, I was at the end of the hallway. It was like a ghost town. I would peek my head
Mhm.
out the door and couldn't see. And I remember the nurses. I could, because it was a glass door, and so I could look out and see them pulling on this yellow vest and putting on new gloves and putting on. It take them like 10 minutes just to get dressed to come in my
Mhm.
room. So one of the nurses, sweet young girl, sweet girl, but she had come in my room to do some things. And, do you need anything? No, I'm good. I'm going to sleep. Going to sleep. Go, go relax. And I watched her. She walked out and she took everything off and put it in a bin, and she crossed herself and she went on down the hallway. And as soon as she went down the hallway, one of my alarms started beeping. And I didn't have a heart to buzz to say, hey, this thing is beeping, because she just took 20
Wow.
minutes. And I was like, oh, if Avalon was here, oh my goodness, poor child. So I guess by the time she got back down to her desk and realized she came back and got, how come you didn't call me? I said, girl, I watched you. It take you so long to get. But I know that had to be a learning process, because we still have trouble with our masks, being sure they're on secure, and
Mhm.
uh, wearing our mask and still getting sick. And I learned a lot from you through that chapter. I truly did, and I'm grateful. I am grateful
Thank you.
for you. I'm grateful. Okay, so let's pull this up. Tell me about some of these. Where is it? Where is it? Some of these authors. You said, now this the audiobook version, which is now available, and tell me about some of the authors that are in this version of the book.
Well, I know at least I've worked with 5 of them through that when I was charge nurse in dialysis, my years in dialysis, because I was in dialysis for 20 years and I was a charge nurse. And I know that I've talked to them on personal levels where I heard some of the things that they went through while they were working. And this is why they agreed to come in and, like, okay, one or two of them really want to write their own book. They're just so busy because they have a lot to tell. After reading my book, they just felt more comfortable that now they want to come out and really tell the whole story. They have a chapter in my book, but they really want to tell the whole story. The ones that I've known, I know they've all gone through different things, and we've talked to each other. They've seen actually firsthand the things that I went through, and some of them were there to like talk to me and maybe give me comfort, and just and sometimes it was like, Avalon, why are you staying? Why are you? But my father always, he was a bishop. He always said, never let them make you quit, because that's
Yes.
what to do. And that's some of the things we want to encourage these new nurses, because they don't stay in one place too long because they're
Yeah.
going through this. So it's like, you cannot let people make you quit. So
Wow.
and I even it took a lot of convincing. My daughter is also in this book. It took a lot of convincing to get her to just write a chapter because she's always on the phone since she started nursing. Mine this happened, mine that happened, and they did this and they did that. So it's like they have all gone through my trials and tribulation nursing, and then now I'm finding out even more about what they've gone through, things that they not have may not have talked about, but now they're putting it in my book, so I am so grateful to them. The other nurses, I met them through Facebook, so it's like we all went through almost the same thing, just not at the same place.
Wow. Incredible. And even as we were producing the audiobook, I'm narrating chapters and I'm like, I learned so much. Okay, there's a difference between an RN and an LPN, and
Mm-hmm.
what's this, and why are they being disrespected, and why are they being looked down upon? And
Mm-hmm.
I know my chapter is nothing compared to the experiences that you guys have, but it made me appreciate the nurses in my life, the people that weren't necessarily trained like the LPNs and the RNs, but they act as a visiting nurse or a companion, or they serve on
Mm-hmm.
the church's nursing board. Just those people in my life. That's what I had to write about, and I'm very, very grateful for this book. I'm very grateful. Nursing is our passion. We can't
Yes,
quit.
we can't quit.
You cannot quit your passion. I learned something from you about the medical license, that you have to protect your license. You even described
Yes.
it's like a driver's license. You don't want to get a ticket, you'll lose your license. And tell us, can you tell us a little bit about that concept?
Yes. This was one of my friends, a close friend there. That was in his chapter, which is true for all of us because sometimes you'll be asked to do things that may not be in your license, out of the scope of your license, or you like I have experience where someone just made up something. There was a time when in dialysis, someone wrote a hate letter about one of the educators. Now, they really put this hate stuff in it and they left it on her desk. I'm on vacation when this happened. I come back to work. It's a whole big thing. And the first thing I hear is my name is in the pot. I hear one of the upper management saying, I heard Avalon wrote this letter. Now, I didn't even really know what the letter said when I first came back. It was a whole big thing, human resources, all this got involved. And the manager that happened to be there, this young girl at the time, I was in the office talking to her, and she was on the conference call, and they didn't know that I actually heard the conversation because she would not tell me to leave. And the first thing I heard is Avalon did it. Now you're talking about something that could cause me to get in big trouble. I wasn't even there when this happened. It's like those type of things. Like you always got to protect your license because someone can say something about you or claim that you did something. A patient that don't like you.
Right,
There was
right.
one patient that she was determined that she felt like I was too strict on some of the workers because they were her friends, and
What?
she had this determination that because they were clicking with the patient. These are outpatients at dialysis, so they have their lives
Mm,
just like us. But she was
yeah.
determined that I was going to get me out of there, whatever she had to do. So it's these type of things, and that somebody can just say the wrong thing about you, or say you did something. That's why the documentation is so important to protect your license. When I was an LPN, I started as an LPN. I had to be my first year. I had to be transferred to different, almost every floor in the hospital except for the one I ended up on because the nurses were of a different culture, and I guess they weren't
Mm,
used to LPNs, and they were always trying to get
mm,
to do something that was out of my scope. Now I
Mm,
knew I had already read the LPN, book guidelines and stuff. So I knew what I had to do and what I could not do. And they would get
mhm.
upset, call the supervisor, and then when the supervisor come, I'd be like, hey, listen, the
Just a
guidelines said that
mhm,
I can do
mhm,
X, Y, and Z because I'm an LPN. The
mhm.
LPNs work under the RN. So it's like I
Wow.
can't do that because I'm not an RN, I'm just an
Correct,
LPN, and I'm not
correct.
allowed to do that medication or hang this or hang that. And it was always some friction
Mhm,
because so I was protecting my license because I knew what I could do and
mhm.
what I could not. This is what they mean
Amazing.
about in their license because someone will have you ask you to do something maybe over your head, and if you know what you're supposed to do and not supposed to do, then you can fight that. But it depends on
Amazing.
who they are to get you in trouble.
Amazing. 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 Lord, I tell you, it's just too much. It's too
And
much.
that's not what we went
But
into some
we're going
more.
we gonna talk some more in just a little bit. The holiday season is coming up. We
Yes.
do have some organizations that need a little bit of help. So we want to introduce a couple to you, and then we'll be back to hear more about these upcoming anthologies. We'll be right back.
Beth Eaton Baptist Church in Detroit, Michigan is adopting a second grade class from Mary McLeod Bethune Elementary School in Detroit, Michigan. Toys, financial donations, and candy will be accepted through December 17th. For more information, please call 248-702-5559. For donations via Cash App, please send to $S Blessed Forever or via Tithely, TITHE.LY, and search for Beth Eaton Baptist Church. You may drop off candy and toys during any Sunday service starting at noon. Our address is 15820 Wyoming Avenue, Detroit, Michigan 48238. Drop off candy and stay for a word.
You are invited to Walking in Victory. Take 3, a free community stage show, Friday, November 17th, 2023 at 7 o'clock p.m. Featuring warriors of worship, Laura Burnett, and two-time Tampa Bay Gospel Awards nominee, Stacy Elevated Wilson. Hosted by Far More Entertainment, a 501c3 community organization. Doors open at 6:30 p.m. Local business owners on site. Sponsors, donors, volunteers needed. Call 407-476-8121 or visit walkinginvictory.eventbrite. Promotional assistance provided by NGB Productions. Heavenly Hands Homeless Outreach. God Gotcha 365 International Ministries asks for donations for their Christmas bags. The goal is to help 100 homeless souls. We are asking for donations to prepare for winter. It's time for the Christmas drive, December 9th. Asking for donations of blankets, t-shirts, socks, gloves, scarves, skull caps, sweatshirts, and backpacks. The founder is Latrell Davis. Drop off your donations at 1101 Barbara Drive in Daytona Beach, 32114. Final drop-off is December 2nd, 2023. You may also send a cash app to $LATRLLA. It's time for the Christmas drive to help 100 homeless souls. Promotional consideration sponsored in part by Angie B. Productions.
Hi, my name is Brother Bert Eagle with Field Air Land Ministries. I'm coming to you today about Praying for America campaign. We in the United States are so divided, and we need to learn how to come back together. There's so much going on in the world today to where we are so divided we don't even understand how confused or how separated the United States is. Praying for America campaign is designed to bring us back together by representing the nation. It's not about color, creed, race, whether you like me, you don't like me. We're all living under this nation, and it's about us coming together on Christmas Day in love, in unity, and representing it. It's not asking you to do anything different that you do on that day. All it's saying is we want to get 1 million people all across our nation wearing this shirt to represent unity in our nation. So please join us at htlminc.square.site. Please order your shirt today. We want to have a significant show in representing our nation, that we are ready to come together as a nation. God bless you, and I hope you're having a wonderful and blessed day, evening, morning, noon, or night. Whatever it is for you, I hope it is going well. But we ask you to join us as a nation in doing something to say we love each other. God bless you.
Hi, my name is Celeste Fox. Christmas Day this year, we will all be wearing our One Nation Under God in support of unity, coming together as one, as brothers and sisters should be. And I ask you to support this cause in love and unity. We are all brothers and sisters, and this is how it's supposed to be. So please join our cause, because I will definitely be wearing my shirt on Christmas Day. Thank you.
We are so honored to be able to be a blessing to other organizations. We're blessed to be a blessing. And so in Detroit, Michigan, and in Daytona Beach, Florida, in Orlando, Florida, and all across the country, we want you to know that Angie B Productions is here for you in one form or another. I may not be very, very active with the company now that I'm in semi-retirement, still recovering from COVID, but we got a fantastic team that has helped keep me relevant, reels and going live and introducing books. And that is one thing that that our guest does. I'll log on to Facebook, and she'll pop up with her book cover there, and she'll tell us something about the book and tell us why it's important to have it in our libraries, and so I want you to pay attention to her when you see her come in. Now, sweetie, I'm bringing you back on camera because I want you to tell us, okay, you did the first book about nursing, so to encourage people not to give up on their passion. Not don't give up on your passion. Don't let them make you quit. I do appreciate that. But what's up with this book? Just a bunch of men, volume 2. What where'd that come from?
Well, this one came to mind because one of my close friends, who is a male nurse, he happens to be in the first book, but we were talking about nursing and different things. We usually, like, he kind of runs his day down and things he did. So we were talking about how when we're working and nursing and stuff, and I happened to throw a little joke in there. I said, well, you men, you don't get treated like us women, like us female nurses. The manager always grinning and talking so nice to you, and you don't get talked to the way we do. And he just stopped me right there. Wait a minute, hold up, stop. See, you looking at it from the wrong perspective. You don't think about the fact that what we actually go through as male nurses, how we have to have escorts if we're going to do a full assessment on the patient.
Yeah.
If we insert a catheter in a female patient, the things that, we have to think about on our mind when we are taking care of patients as a male
Right.
nurse, and how
Right.
sometimes they don't even see us as male nurses. They think we're the aide, or we're there somebody else. They don't even know that we're their nurse unless they look at our badge. So it,
Wow.
it got me to thinking. I said, well, you know what? I never looked at it from his perspective. So I said,
Mhm,
I need to
mhm.
see if I can gather a couple of male nurses, even if it's not as many as the female nurses, even if it's only 5. I just would like to hear their perspective of how they feel working as a male nurse, in a predominantly profession that mostly women are. So this is
Mhm,
where I got this idea. So now I'm trying to recruit a couple of male nurses just to
mhm.
get in this project to see if they're right, how they feel about working as a male nurse, and see, yeah, just to get their experience.
Ooh, now I know for a fact this book brought something out in me. I've already written my chapter already. I think I turned it in to you. I'm not a
Yes.
man, I'm not a nurse. But I was in a situation where I truly discriminated against a young man who was in the hospital to take care of me. And it wasn't until you started talking to me about this book that I was like, oh my God, that's wrong. I shouldn't have done that. And so I've got a couple messages that say, well, this really doesn't relate to me. I'm not a nurse. I'm not, but hey, it does, because as patients, we have to have our eyes open about how we treat the people that are taking care of us. It's not just their
Mhm.
job to take care of us. It is truly a passion. I've learned a lot. I truly have.
Yeah, and then
Mm-mm.
it's funny because right after I decided to start this project, I'm on LinkedIn, looking around LinkedIn, and I run across an article where a nurse had written an article about the male nurses and how they're perceived, and I was like, wow, wow, that's so funny. He wrote a whole article about that, and I said, okay, this is right on time,
So
right on
relevant.
time.
So relevant. And then I talked to my sister and she said, well, there's a guy on TikTok that's a nurse and he's always in his car ranting and raving. And she sent us that video. And sure enough, he's talking about problems and issues that he goes through as a male nurse. Now he is talking a little bit more about, management, but I get the point. There should not be any more of a difference between a male nurse taking care of you than a female nurse because of your professionalism. So I am truly grateful for that. Listen, I want to get back to the first book. I know you're recruiting for this book. If you are a man, or a man that's in a profession that is normally considered one for women, or maybe has a story to tell, they need to get in touch with us so they could be a part of this book. Now, remind me of the details. The submission fee is $175. They'll get one copy of the printed book. They'll get the audio book. They'll receive the ISBN, which shows that they are authors. Right?
Mhm.
They'll get a promotional flyer like the ones you saw on the screen earlier. They'll get a promotional video, and they'll get to be a part of Books and Besties.
Yeah.
Books and Besties comes to us in just a few days. It's a 2 hour chat with you and all of your authors, or a reflection of all of your authors. We'll introduce you to their promo videos, just a snippet of one of the chapters. We'll introduce you to their bios, how you can get in touch with them. I'm looking forward to Books and Besties. I truly am.
Yes.
Can you tell us something that you're looking forward to with Books and Besties?
Well, I'm also looking forward. I'm hoping that the majority of them can show up and kind of tell people how they feel, how, what they actually have gone through. It's like, and how, the fact that they're so happy because some of them have said, thank you, Avalon, for inviting me into this project. And most of them, it's only 2 of them that's already authors. None of them are authors. So now they feel like this is helping them to
Yeah.
move on and put out their own stories, their
Yeah.
individual books. And
Yeah.
this is what, I wanted them to do, because a couple of them have talked to me about so much that they have gone through. And now they feel like, yes, I'm ready to put it in a book. Yes. So
So
I'm
good.
hoping this segment will help bring out more of them.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I want to play the Serenity Prayer recording that is a part of the audiobook. It was something that you inspired us to include. I never recognized there was a Serenity Prayer just for nurses. And so we're going to play that for you right quick. A nurse's Serenity Prayer. As I care for my patients today, be there with me, O Lord, I pray. Make my words kind, it means so much. And in my hands, place your healing touch. Let your love shine through in all that I do, so those who are in need may hear you, feel you, and see you in me. Author unknown.
Hi, this is author Avalon S Brown. I am the visionary of this project. Recently, I've been speaking to different nurses who have been expressing and voicing their challenges and their frustration while working in the field. So I decided to reach out to different nurses from different specialties and bring them together to create a book so that they can write about their experiences, their challenges, their frustrations that they experienced in nursing and how they overcame them and why those challenges did not make them quit. This is going to be a very important book for the next generation of nurses, because they can see that they are not alone out there. The nurses before you have gone through these same type of challenges, these same frustration, but they never allowed it to make them quit, because nursing is their passion. And this is what we want you to know. Keep your passion. Never let them make you quit.
Audiobook produced and promoted by Angie B. Productions. Applause, applause, applause for your co-authors that definitely poured their heart out in this project. I know Amy Downing wrote enough for her submission. She got a whole book and so heartfelt. And I truly appreciated reading your daughter's story, because one, I knew she was your daughter, but two, she had some true stories to tell. Let me bring you in. Let me bring you in. It's like sometimes kids feel like, okay, well, I may be doing the same thing my mama doing, but it was different. It's harder for me. Some of the stuff, I was like, wait a minute, have you talked to you? Y'all almost got the same stuff, which is really a shame, because those challenges should not still be present 40-something years later, almost 50 years later.
It's getting worse.
And it's such a good book. It truly is. So tell people how they can order the audiobook from you. And then we're going to go on to this next project that you're recruiting people for.
You can go to my website, author.avalonsb.com, and get a copy of the audiobook. If you're on Facebook, you can get it through Facebook, because I do have it on Facebook with the payment link where you can go straight to it. Author Avalon S. Brown. And it's best to go to my website. That's where you can just get it right away. The minute you pay, I'll send it right away, as soon as I send you your name.
Because that's the beautiful thing about an audiobook. It comes to your email. So
yes.
Long as you pay and give us the email, we get it right to you. Ain't got
Right
to
to
wait
you.
for it to get shipped to you or anything. And it kind of wets your whistle so that then when you order the soft cover, so you can read along while you're listening,
Mhm.
you're still in the trenches of it with the audiobook while you're waiting for that. So that is a great idea. And I love the fact that you say you also sell the cards, the what
The
now?
memory stick, yeah.
Yes, yes, yes.
I also, yeah, you can also get it on a memory stick. So if you
So
order, you have to let me know if you want it on the memory stick. Otherwise, I'm gonna just send it to you through your email.
okay, okay. But the memory stick, like for your children's book, would have the PDF for them to read and the
Mhm.
audiobook together.
And the audiobook.
That is genius. That is
And the
genius.
same thing for the, you can get that also probably with the audiobook. Once you put it on the memory stick, the PDF can
Mhm.
also go on there. But
That's so good.
yeah, I'm not going to do it until our book actually comes out.
Yeah, I got you.
Yes.
I got you. Well, we got to give a special shout out to Christy Designs. Evangelist Christy is the truly anointed young woman who designed the book cover for this one. I found love through Jesus Christ, inspirational testimonies of love. That is going to be a beautiful anthology. Again, you can share your story. The fee is $175. You see everything at the bottom of the screen: marketing, book tour, invitations. But I want you to tell me what inspired this project
This
to
is
go
funny
from nursing
because
to love. Tell me about this one.
because growing up, and most people who have grown up with me, at least through the church or through the neighborhood, they knew that and people today don't believe that that was me. But growing up, I was I could say I was a loner, very mean child. um I didn't speak to people for some reason. I didn't like people.
Mhm.
And I can't, I don't know if it's because now I grew up as an only child. I had a sister and brother, but my brother, by the time I can remember, I guess by the time I can remember going to kindergarten, he was already in the Navy.
Oh
And my
wow.
sister, I
Yeah.
think my sister was married because she has a daughter that's 10 months younger than me. So I kind of
Wow.
was a late child. I think my mother was almost like 49, 50 when she had me,
Right.
and her and my father, they got married at the age of 16 down when they were in the South. So it was really like, and by the time she was 20, I think she had my sister and brother. But we were so far apart. So I grew up as the only child. But I just had this mean thing about me. I didn't like to be a people. And I could probably say it. Maybe it came from children used to pick at me a lot too. Maybe because I was quiet or whatever in school and stuff. And it's
Mhm.
just like I grew to just be mean and not like people and just, I was a loner a lot. And I think this is all the way up until probably about the age of 40 maybe or whatever. I
Oh
can say
goodness.
once when I got in church, probably once I decided to accept the Lord. What happened was I had an experience in church, and I the mother called me out, I guess, because I'm always the way I was, and I guess she was like, it's time to just like call her out, and she just kind of showed me myself, and I was so upset. I went home angry and everything, and I just saw myself. I was awake, and I know I was in the bathroom, and I saw myself actually in hell. I'm telling you, I was in this
Mm.
dark place, and these
Mm-mm.
faces, and I saw a couple other people that I thought that should not be there, that I thought that they were such Christians in the church. But I saw
Oh
them, and it
goodness.
was just an ugly place. And I
Mm.
realized that this isn't where I want to be. And when I came out, I was looking in the bathroom and I was just in tears, because I know I wasn't asleep when this happened. So when I went to church that Sunday, I got prayer. I got in the prayer line. And after the pastor had prayed for me, I actually sat on the bench and I felt like something was pulling me. Like, and my friend was there, and my friend kept saying that I kept uttering, they won't let me go. They won't let me go. And she said the pastor came back over, started praying for me again because I kept saying, like wringing my hands and saying, they won't let me go. They won't let me go. And she said, once he started praying for me, it's like I started kind of screaming and was like sliding off the chair to the
Oh.
floor. And she said, he still was praying for me. And she said, all of a sudden, I just went into a calm sleep. When I got up, all I could feel was love. All I felt was love. It was just like because I didn't love people. I didn't hate people. I hated people. I didn't love people, nothing. But all I felt was love. All of a sudden, I felt like I wanted to love everybody. And it's ever since then, that's how I feel. Even when people do me wrong, I really felt like I learned what love was. Ever since that day, it's like we tell each other, oh, I love you. But I learned that it's not really a word. It's like when you can love somebody who hates you or do wrong to you, then you have love. So I feel like I have learned to love because I stopped hating people. That's when I started actually kind of interacting with people. And even like on the job when they was doing stuff to me, I didn't hate them. Like I would go and still, like the manager some asked me, oh, can you do something? And people would be saying, Avalon, why you do that? You know what she did to you. And I realized it wasn't about what they did, or it's about how I react, what I'm doing, what kind of love I'm put out. So that's why I said I found love through Jesus Christ, because I can now love everybody no matter what they're doing. I'm going to show them love. If somebody's just, I'm out in the store or something, somebody decides, you know how people act when you run into people or they curse you out or whatever, and I'm not really doing nothing. Somebody in the next car, I'm still going to just show the love and the light that I have in me. And that's what inspired that title.
Amen. Amen. That is beautiful. Because somebody had asked, well, I met my husband at the club, not through Jesus, or I met. And so what you just shared is enough to inspire so many more people to be a part of this book, because it's all about you and how you're building your relationship with Christ. And it's only through love. So if you'd like to be a part of the anthology, I Found Love Through Jesus Christ, and share your inspirational testimony of love, please contact my guest. She is looking for stories from people who found love. The cost of $175 is invoiced through PayPal and broken up into 2 payments. So don't let that scare you away. But with that, you will get so much more. The book of Ephesians, more than you can ask or think. And that also includes time, just sharing what you've learned. Sweetheart, I appreciate you. I thank you so much for being here. I know I'm gonna see you in a couple days on the 19th. So let's get ready for that. You got any final words you want to share with us about your journey as an author?
Well, I'm just saying, I hope people will look me up on Facebook. I'm also on Instagram. I'm on Instagram under the same author Avalon S. My website, author.avalonsb.com. You can also email me at author.avalonsbrown@yahoo.com. I really hope you get this nursing book, because I know people think that we're just out there taking care of patients, whatever. I want people to see that there's more to nursing than what there's things behind the nursing, and to encourage the next generation, because nurses are starting to hop from place to place. They don't stay there that long. And I really want people to read this book or listen to this book and really get something out of it, especially the younger generation of nursing. It may encourage them that, okay, I'm just going to stick with this. And, they've done it before me. People been going through this for years, 40 years or more, because there's nurses that's older than me that tell me some stories. But, I just want everybody to enjoy this book. Get this audio book. Our Angie B did such an excellent job bringing our stories out. She really made them come to life. Thank you, Angie. Thank you. Love you for doing this.
Thank you.
For your
Thank
help.
you. Thank you.
I'm so honored.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, everybody, we appreciate you for joining us on tonight's episode of We Getting Over This Hump Together. If you're in a situation and you think you're all by yourself, send us your contact information, send us your story. I guarantee you are not alone. And you're not alone. You're not alone. So, all right, everybody, going to celebrate my daughter's birthday. If it's the Lord's will, we'll be back.
Happy birthday, daughter.
See you in a couple. All right, have a good one, dear. Good
You too.
night.
Thank you.